Welcome back, everybody. It is lap 2 of the Kia Series, the Canadian Grand Prix, and as you may have gathered, I got blue screen and kicked out as soon as MK Bourne left, so that's why we've missed the start of the race. You've managed to see more of it than I have. What has caught your eye so far?
Well, by the way, it's caught my eye. There's been a turn 1 incident by the looks of things. Mozza's down 10 places, so it looks like there was a bit of a scuffle between the mid-pack there, which we sort of predicted with drivers who are usually up there, down at the bottom of the grid, so there's got a lot more work to do now, but doesn't seem to be any safety car that has happened, with but Risky still maintained his position in P1, but I really wanted to see start there. I mean, Yuri's up by 8 places. So, nevertheless, it looks like it's been an okay start, apart from the 3 drivers at the back of Newgarden, Bill and Mozza. Yeah,
sadly, unfortunately, they had the incident which we didn't quite see. What we've got going on here is this MK Bourne. So MK Bourne, I think, might be back in the lobby because he's very much on the attack against Bazza for 8th place. Got some moving going down the field. Is he going to dive down the inside, MK Bourne? No, he's not, but Bazza ran very deep into the hairpin. The advantage there is he'll get square up the car earlier, but you can see, look at that, MK Bourne's really on the offensive here and has, well, comfortably driven past Bazza down the straight and takes P8, so he's managed to rejoin the lobby and he's very much on the move.
Got a lot of ground to make up there after this not being able to make the start. He's been lucky, actually. He's gained 5 positions, and maybe not even being connected for the start of the race has actually done him some good, because it's probably caused him to keep out of trouble by the looks of things.
Yeah, potentially he might have been involved in something that had got off if he hadn't been AI controlled, so sometimes it can be a blessing.
Looking at the close action now is Indecisive Ways and Niels, and Mr. John is coming up onto the pack now for the battle for P11. They're quite close on track, so I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, just on board with Waste at the moment as he dives down the inside of Indecisive. Oh, Indecisive has to go off the road. He's going to lose another place there as well. And Splinter's out the race. Splinter is out the race. And we've got a virtual safety car. Oh, that's out of... Oh, that's just before the hairpin. Well, it's just after the chicane. So he's obviously lost it on traction, I would suggest.
It's the curb, I think, under the tunnel. If you ride that curb a bit too much under the throttle, I don't know, for some reason, the car gets glued onto the curb. You just have no control, and the rear end gives way. And it looks like that's what's happened to him.
I think that Splinter in the chat, I can just see, lasted 4 laps. I'm impressed. Oh, and well, you can see with the virtual safety car being out, a lot of drivers are taking this opportunity to come in the pits and change tyres.
And I don't blame them one bit.
Onto the medium compound tyre for Risky. He still rejoins in 2nd place ahead of Waze. He's only got Yuri in front of him, so that's not too bad at all for him. Jack G rejoins just behind Niels, so that's worked out beautifully for Risky because he's got a nice bit of clear air, whereas Jack, who was running in 2nd before, has got some traffic to deal with.
Oh, wow. And then you've got Yuri, who started... This is not speed bias, by the way. This is actually from an equal point of view. Just saying this now. Yuri is in P1, he's up 18 positions. If you can get a top 3 spot starting that way down the grid, that's quite some drive. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to sound like I'm being biased.
Definitely. I mean, the only thing for him, of course, is he decided not to pit under the VSC, so obviously maybe going for a slightly different strategy in that regard. It's worth pointing out that Niels, who's currently running in 4th, is just about to come under threat from Jack G into the final chicane. Oh, and Jack G has to take the escape road, and that might leave him vulnerable to Vitinho. Ooh, no. I think there was contact there, and Vitinho's got damage on his front wing. That's a big blow for the Brazilian. Oh, and now he's got it, and he's got into Jack. Oh, this is not good. Not good for either of them, and well, he decided he might as well damage the whole of his front wing while he's at it. And
has that given Jack damage?
Not that I can see. I think he's been lucky in the fact that most of the contact he's had has been at the rear of his car.
I was just concerned that he didn't get a punt from the back and it made him tap the gearbox of Niels. but it doesn't look too bad so far.
Oh, but he nearly runs into the back of Niels there as well. Oh, real scruffy couple of laps for Jack G and Vitinho.
I'm just not going to ride on board of any more drivers at this rate. They seem to just keep almost like losing it.
Yeah, that was a really heart-in-mouth moment for Jack G there in the, I don't know, maybe it's a Lotus-inspired car. But, yeah, I was about to say that it's really worked out well for Risky, but I was going to just bring up Niels quickly because he's the only driver this evening who's running the Joker, and that basically means that he only has to make one stop, whereas everybody else has to make two. So that could be quite an advantage for Niels, and would explain as to why he started on mediums.
Oh, I definitely. I mean, sorry to interrupt there. Mr. John's just overtaken Newgarden there at the hairpin there. But Newgarden's coming back up to him side by side towards the chicane. Newgarden's gotten back ahead of him.
Nice scraps going on down up and down the field. Vitinho into the pits to repair his front wing. He was looking like he was going to have such a good race, but now he's going to rejoin very close to the back of the field entirely. Just in 18, well, just in front of Dark Shadow in 17, so not ideal at all. We've got MK Bourne and Jacko having a little bit of a scrap there.
Risky picking up a 3-second time penalty. That could be pivotal towards the end of the race, depending on the drivers behind get more penalties, that is.
Yeah, you can already see, looking at the left-hand side of the screen, more than half the drivers have already got at least one penalty, which is just shows what this track's like. Jacko, I think, has had to give up. That position's actually lost a place to Bazza as well. So Jacko down to 10th, of course. I think he pitted very early on. I think he might have got some damage early on in the race. But nevertheless, he's actually no, he started on medium, so yeah, he's not actually made a pit stop yet, Jacko, so not too bad in that regard, but he is starting to slip down the order. Meanwhile, we could have a battle in the top two positions because we've got Risky right behind Yuri, and we'll ride on board with Risky. Risky's in his name. We're going to see anything like a risky move to take the lead off Yuri here. I can't imagine that Yuri will fight this one too hard because I think there's just quite a big pace deficit at this point of a race.
Yeah, look at that rear end from Yuri now. He's got no rear tyres left. He's going to have to pit soon. I think he was hoping for another virtual safety car, but he's hoping a bit too much there.
Yeah, Vitinho did his best to help him out on that one, but sadly not to be for Yuri, and yeah, should expect to see him in. Meanwhile, just behind, we've got a potential move being weighed up here because Niels is right behind Wace for P3.
Got good straight line speed though as well, it's interestingly, but he's depleted all of his battery, so you'll have nothing to defend now down this back straight here. It's going to be a sitting duck now.
Oh, but then you've got Jack G potentially getting involved as well. He's already been involved in quite a bit of contact. Right round the outside goes Niels. Oh, Wace is round. Wace is round. And he's got to be careful how he recovers on track. Does so in a safe manner. But yeah, I think there was a bit of contact there between him and Jack as Jack tried to follow Niels through. And just that little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact was enough to unstabilise Waze's car and send him round.
That's a real shame for Waze. They did nothing wrong there. It just looked like wheel-to-wheel contact, but the contact model in this game, whereas if you have any form of wheel-to-wheel contact during the corner, one car spin hours. Yeah,
nothing.
Sorry.
minimal contact, and is all it took for Waze to go round there. And yeah, I expect to see him in the pits as we got Jack diving down the inside of Niels at the hairpin, and they'll run side by side all the way down the next straight. In fact, Niels got the better exit as a result of taking the wide line, so Jack hasn't got the move done yet, but with DRS and overtake here, surely there's nothing that Niels can do, and indeed there isn't. Jack has the move done before they get to the final chicane and is up to third.
Yeah, Jack just has so much more battery to play with compared to Niels. Niels is on what, 4% ERS to Jack's 45%, so even with DRS behind, Niels has no ERS, but Jack has the ERS to defend, so now he's going to try and gain on the top two now.
Yeah, which is surprisingly still Yuri leading. I'm surprised. I mean, he's got the word risky in his name, but so far he hasn't tried anything remotely risky. He's got a lot of his ERS still saved up, almost a full battery, but he's going to have a better exit here. Yuri ran a bit wide, and that could be the opportunity, but he was looking for you. Yes, it is. Yuri can do nothing about that one, and probably a lap or two later than I expected, but Risky's back in the lead.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the rear camera view now of Yuri. Those rear tyres are screaming. He has to pit with now on the next lap. He has to.
Well, he's running. He has to do two-stop strategy anyway, so there's not much advantage to staying out beyond this point now. He can just go on to medium tyres if he pits now. So I expect to see him in the pits at the end of this lap. Wouldn't make much sense to do anything otherwise. We've got another battle potentially brewing here between Newgarden and Bill over P12.
In the maroon car of Bill's. There's a bit deep there, so there's opportunity for Newgarden though. Because it ran wide there, he can put the power down up so much earlier out of there. And Newgarden looked like he lost a relay now. He's under threat now from Fatinia.
Yeah, I really did no good at all.
Side by side.
Newgarden nearly locking up and going to the back of Bill. Managed to take avoiding action.
Hang on, it's a full course safety car.
That didn't even come up on my screen there, but I can see the yellow flag all around the circuit, so...
what I'd do is hide the UI and make it reappear. That fixes the graphic glitch. As Newgarden almost goes into the safety car.
Thank you, you're a genius.
Sorry?
Safety car is out then, gets confirmed now by my game. And I think Vitinho actually got past Newgarden where he made that error there, but then had to let him back through because he did it under yellows. So
who has benefited from this? Yuri, who's just pitted.
Yeah, that's really nice for Yuri. That's really, really good for him. So, you know, staying out might not have been such a bad call after all. But of course, you never know when these safety cars are going to happen. So it's very much you just gotta hope that your strategy goes in line with the safety cars.
Just gotta roll the dice. This is brought back into the game now. Waze, Indecisive and Jess, which will be a lifesaver for Jess here. But the problem is now, the game randomly gives you a delta, so it's going to take Jess and Indecisive a while to catch up to the back of the pack.
Alright, so Niels is into the pits to make his one and... I think he did change his front wing, so yeah, I think he had some damage. I don't think it was extensive, but I guess under a safety car, you're best off just getting it changed if you've got any sort of damage. Niels rejoins in P11, and of course, on those hard tyres now, he doesn't have to stop again.
But with those hard tyres, they're not the best round here, I must say. Putting the power down is quite pivotal round here, and he'll be sliding around a lot, I must say.
Yeah, he'll probably come under threat later on when those guys in front of him make their second stops. So we've got Risky in the lead, we've got Jack in second. It's fair to say Jack's probably had one of the most eventful races of anyone so far. He seems to have been involved in all the action we've seen on the most part. But nevertheless, he's still up in second, which usually when somebody has an eventful race, you don't expect to still see them so high up.
No, honestly, usually JACKOCAR is the complete opposite. Any form of damage, yeah, the back will do it, but he's recovered really well. All credit to him here.
Got Easty Mats in third, Dance Car fourth. MK Bourne as well deserves a shout. Up in fifth place. Of course, he had to rejoin after the race started due to some issues, so he's recovered really well to find himself up in fifth place. We've got Bazza 6, Connor 7th. Hold the front page, everybody. Jacko inside the top 10 at the moment in 8th. With Mozza and Yuri completing the top 10 right now.
Wow, I mean, Jacko, all he needs to use now really is the soft tyres, because don't forget, he's not pitted yet. So he's still got the 2 soft compounds of tyres to use, so he'll be a threat towards the end of the race.
Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation. So all the top 4 drivers have 3 seconds. MK Bourne doesn't have a penalty yet, which is very good going. Mozza's got 8 seconds. I'm guessing there's a pit lane speeding penalty or something that contributes to 5 of those seconds. Niels and Bill and Wace have all got quite a few corner cutting penalties. Mr. John has a penalty, so does Indecisive. There's only actually 6 drivers that haven't got a penalty right now. And by the end, I would expect that number to be, well, 0 actually. I think if anyone can get through his race without a penalty, they've done exceptionally well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised really there isn't like more penalties with the drivers who currently have got them. I mean, top 4 got 3 seconds worth of penalties. I mean, it's like you say, it's worth just losing time. If you're in the DRS, this sounds really daft, but if you're in the DRS, maybe lose time at some of the corners, play it safe and gain it back down the straight. It could all come down to penalties in the end.
Absolutely. MK Bourne right now will be quite happy with how his race has gone in that regard. Same with Connor and Yuri, all inside the top 10 without any penalties. And Yuri's only on 2-lap old mediums, so he could be a threat once we get back underway with much newer mediums as opposed to those in front of him.
Yeah, but just with the overcast conditions, I'm surprised not more drivers are trying to work the tyres, trying to get some temperature into them, because I must say, personally, when racing as Indecisive picks up a penalty during the safety car, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. Corner cutting wise, anyway.
Wow, yeah, just seen that he's got up to 8 seconds now. That's quite unusual. Cause...
I'm going to look at liveries whilst the safety car's out at the moment, because yeah, I've noticed a couple of new ones, particularly Risky's red livery. When it's at certain stages of the track, the reflections it gives off, it's really nice. Especially on the rear wing cam as well, the fade of red to black.
Yeah, I especially look forward to, I think it's the finale week in Bahrain when we see some of these liveries and maybe some new ones under the lights, because, I don't know, something about the cars being under the lights always seems to make them look even better.
Oh, definitely.
It was actually really nice having a real-life season opener at Bahrain for that exact reason. Just to see the new liveries all looking really good under the lights.
Oh, honestly, definitely. But the safety car looks like it's in this lap, and Risky will leave it as late as possible to throttle down, as, you know, those straights are that long, you want to pull away as much as possible. All ERS for everybody, all charged up again. Just have to wait and see when Risky puts the throttle down. Everyone
caught up to the safety car, which is good. And we're ready to get back underway, but Risky, like you say, he'll want to leave that as late as possible and try and catch Jack unawares slightly. So when's he going to go? We can see all the cars just raring to get the throttle down, but it's all down to Risky as to when he wants to start pushing.
Well, interestingly, Risky's got front right end plate damage. I've just noticed
yeah, he
now.
has. Yeah, he's got. When did he got that? So that's not going to be too ideal for him. And we're back underway here, and he eventually got the power down. And he's not left Jack any opportunity. Indecisive's out of the race. So Indecisive, as he crashed into a wall of champions.
Well, I'll look back on the cameras and see. Possibly Jess has hanged back, so I'm guessing. And there's a car.
Oh, Mr. John. Mr. John into the wall, as I said, just saw that. And Yuri's out of the race, and Mozza! Yuri and Mozza both out of the race. They've had a massive crash.
Oh, the Speed Boys crashed into it. Newgarden's car's inside the wall on my screen, but he's fine now. He's outside of the wall now, but there's been a collision between the speed drivers here.
Yeah, Mozza and Yuri both into the wall. Vitinho's left the session as well, so he'll be basically taken over by an AI at this point. This is becoming a real race of attrition. We're less than half distance, but so many drivers already out. And I didn't see that Mozza Yuri crash, but judging from the way the cars were buried into the walls, it was quite a high-speed impact.
We have the VSC, so will anyone take advantage of just pit stop once again, as Estimats does indeed take my advice. Why is he slowed really down? It's now been an overtake. Bazza's overtaken him in the pit lane.
Yeah, I was going to say Jacko nearly went into the back of him as well. I was going on board with Jacko because I thought for him this is a perfect opportunity to get one of his 2 pit stops out of the way.
Yeah, that was quite dangerous that from Estimats. I wonder why he slowed down so much.
Maybe worried about getting a penalty, but yeah, maybe a bit overkill on that one, sadly. But thankfully no issues. Jacko somehow avoided the back of him. But we're still under VSC at the moment. Risky still leading away despite the damage.
Unlucky for Bill, really. He's in the same pit box as Estimats, and he's tried to take advantage of the VSC, and he's just lost loads of time now. It's about a 15-second pit stop that for Bill. That's not ideal around here. As Estimats now gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
Jack is going for the race lead on Risky around the outside of a hairpin. And he's going to get a better exit. They're going to run side by side down the next straight, but it looks like Risky actually got the better traction slightly. Ducks back into the slipstream. He's going to try and go around the outside of the final chicane. That's going to be a brave move if he can make that work. Oh, there's a bit of contact between them, and he has to cut across the chicane. Surely he's going to have to slot back in behind on that one, but he's still trying to get the move done down the following straight. I don't know how Risky will feel about that, but Jack takes the lead of a race, and well, I'm a bit surprised in a way that Risky didn't come in for a pit stop while the VSC was out.
I mean, in all honesty, that could be under investigation. Risky might appeal that move there because he technically went off the track and gained an advantage, but we'll wait and see what the stewards think.
Yeah, he definitely didn't lose any time doing so, so I'm a little bit surprised he didn't sort of duck him back in behind on that one.
Another VSC.
Yeah, we got another VSC. What's that for? I can't see any obvious reason.
I wonder if there's a game glitch. It's doing the thing where the safety car comes out so many times. You only get it 5 times in the race, so I think there's one more safety car, virtual safety car we get, and then that's it.
Oh, and yeah, I've just got the Easty Mats having a penalty. I just had to refresh my UI again, which is always fun. And you can see at the moment then, so VSC out there, but I don't think so. I think if I had to guess right now, I think we've had we have 3 or 4 of our allotted 5 pit stop windows.
About 3, I think.
Yeah, so we've still got a couple left, but it didn't look like to be any obvious reason as to why that happened. We're back under green flag conditions now. Jack G has a really good opportunity to try and extend the lead, but he's got 8 seconds worth of penalties, so he's going to need to do so. Especially with the likes of Risky and MK Bourne behind him with not too many, if any, penalties at all. And I'm going to try and go on board, if the game wants to let me, with Niels, who is just behind Waze.
Yeah, I was riding on board with that. Niels just couldn't put the power down there, and with Waze on the softest compound tyre available this weekend, it was just an easy move there for Waze, just down the inside, and job done for Waze as he tries to recover his race and catch on the back of Connor, but he has 12 seconds worth of penalties. So he's on par with Bill at the moment, so in terms of penalty-wise, race-wise, Waze is almost a winner here. Although the driver penalty could top it.
Someone's asked to see the pit stops. There you go. So Bazza, Easty Mats, Bill, Newgarden and Mr. John have all made 2 stops. Vitinho's made 3, so he's fine in terms of pit stops now. Niels doesn't need to stop again, but everyone else around him who's made 1 stop does.
Yeah, the Joker's not worked out for Niels this race. A lot of virtual safety cars, a lot of collisions. It's not been ideal for him at all.
No, and I think as well, like, when you use a Joker, you ideally need to do it at a track where the hard tyres are not too bad, and at this track they're nowhere near as good as the mediums or softs.
There's Jess is in the pits now, who's currently was in P9 actually, and she comes in to make her final pit stop. So to say where she was before the safety car, that would have saved her. So it'll be interesting to see what she can do now. She comes out in P12 ahead of Bill as well, and interestingly Jess doesn't have any penalties as well. That could play a big part in her final race result now, so if she can get a top 10, that's a great drive there from Jess.
Yeah, and definitely possible, especially as you never know, there could be another safety car yet as well, which would only help her more now that she's got her final stop out the way.
As Waze went a bit wide there and compromises Niels' exit now. Could be under threat from Vitinho now, could Niels?
Oh yeah, I can see Vitinho there, but of course Niels has the DRS himself. Vitinho not using any of his remaining overtakes, so that enables Niels to keep the position as Risky comes into the pits, and he's now changing his front wing.
So Vitinho looks to go around the outside, but there's just no room there. Niels shuts the door on him, saying, "No, you're not taking that position away from me. Try again, sir."
Yeah, it's important for Niels this, because he knows that if he can hold drivers up who've got to stop again, then it helps him out towards the back end of a race. What a huge moment that was for Waze. That was a great broadcast shot there from just like a camera right next to the wall as you saw Waze sliding towards it. Those soft tyres will be starting to feel a little bit past their best at this point, and this could be an opportunity for Niels to make an overtake back on Waze.
And as you say that, he has picked up another penalty, 15 seconds worth, as Niels has gone down the inside and taken back to P5. Does Patino? And Patino's picked up damage, and there's collision again. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Can Patino take a break?
Yeah, just one too many collisions for Patino this evening. It would appear him and Jack G really being the wars between them. But it's Patino that keeps getting the damage, unfortunately, so he'll have to pin again.
He's weaving in frustration, it looks like.
Yeah, he's obviously not happy with how that's gone, and Waste comes into the pits as well.
And now he's got a 5-second time penalty to top it off. Oh, dearie.
Yeah, annoyingly, unless I keep refreshing the UI, the penalties don't actually pop up for me. I just have to keep checking them, which is a bit irritating. But
I'll keep you updated, because Jacko's now got a 3-second time penalty.
And I think there was a change in position for second as well. MK Bourne got past Dan's car. I didn't actually see the move, but I think it was down the pit straight, maybe into turn 1 it would appear. But that's good. That's good news for MK Bourne, because as it stands at the moment, he's not got a penalty, and he's running in second place on the road.
Right, well, driver's keeping that now is risky. He's opted to go for the undercut, so...
I did wonder that with the way he sort of flicked into the corner, and I think it has happened. I think MK Bourne's got a bit of damage.
Where was this happened at the hairpin?
It was into the chicane in the middle part of the lap.
The drivers need to be careful here. Mr. John's got his slow on track of a front right puncture.
Yeah,
he's now opted to go.
MK Bourne in the pits.
Hopefully no drivers follow Mr. John into the pits, because his AI is doing 17 miles an hour in the pit lane right now.
Oh, this could be problems potentially.
Out the way.
No, MK Bourne's okay in that regard. MK Bourne's fine, but he's obviously having to serve. I think he may have had to serve penalty, but oh no, he didn't have a penalty. No, it's just my game not refreshing basically where his car was in the pits. But MK Bourne rejoins in P8, just behind Jacko, or is he just in front of Jacko? No, he's just behind him. But you get the feeling that just based on what I know about these two drivers' respective paces, that it could be an opportunity for MK Bourne to pass Jacko not before too long.
I'm just trying to remember how long it takes to make a pit stop here. Is it around 19 to 20 seconds?
16 is my data.
16, alright. Because Risky has pitted. He's made his pit stops. Jack is currently...
Bourne, that's a great move on Jacko. Squeeze down the inside through the chicane, and that was a good move from him. Jacko tried to defend it, but not much he could do in the end, as we've got Jack and Connor both in the pits now, and I think Jack changed his front wing.
He's got a 5-second stop go, I think, as Jack as well. But he had to respond to Risky, not Whiskey. What am I on about? Risky. Sorry. Because Risky was gaining time at that point proven, 11.6 fastest lap of the race from Risky, and he'll end up in front of Jack here.
Well, I'll tell you who else has ended up in front of Jack because of that. Connor, who entered the pits after Jack did, has ended up in front of him as well, because Jack had to change his front wing and serve a stop go, whereas Connor could just get in, change his tyres and go. So Connor's ended up in front of Jack as well.
Jack made it hard for himself again now. He's got a lot of work to do again now. We have to remember Bowser in front of him though is on the hard tyre, so as long as he doesn't hold him up too much, then he's worth a watch again, is Jack.
Yeah, definitely been a high source of entertainment so far this evening, so keep an eye on him. He's got past Bazza already up into 5th place, and at the moment it's Dan's car leads away, but he's coming into the pits, which means Niels, who of course doesn't have to stop again, now takes the lead of the race. And Dan's car will pit now for a final set of mediums to go to the end. I don't think anyone else has to stop again now, if I'm right in saying. Oh, Jacko. Jacko does.
So now it's down to Risky to gain on Niels, who is on 12 lap old hard tyres. So that's with 11 laps to go and 9 seconds. Let's just look at lap time, because Risky recently set the fastest lap of the race. See if we can get it up on the time board. Yeah, Niels' fastest lap, which was done on his hard tyres, was a 1:13.1. Risky is doing the high 111s at the moment, so But my calculations is catching around 1.5 seconds a lap, so we could catch him towards the end here if he continues this pace. And also Niels has a 9-second time penalty to Risky's 3s. So all Risky needs to do is keep within the 6-second window.
MK Bourne has just passed Bazo. Looks like we've got Jack and Dan's car going side by side through the hairpin. Going down the next straight, it looks like Jack may have got the move done, but they'll both have DRS available to him here. So it's all about who's got the better straight line speed. Looks pretty evenly matched, but Jack will have the inside line into the final chicane and takes the place. But he's not got he's got a bad exit though, so that might allow Dan's car to come fighting back against him. Oh, and they've collided! Jack and Dan's car out the race. I was on board with Dan's car there. From my angle at least, it looked like Jack may just come across him slightly, if anything, but it's just a bit of contact between them. They got attached to each other's car, and both of them into the wall and out the race.
Oh, dearie me. It reminded me of the situation between Felipe Massa and Sergio Perez in 2014, just the nature of that corner where you're having to go to the right to open up turn 1. It just looks like the cars just got glued into each other. And unfortunately it ended up in a race-ending incident for Jack and Dan's car. But interestingly, no virtual safety car, nor safety car. So
I think the race director's just got a bit fed up with it all, frankly, and is just like, right, I'm just gonna leave you guys to it for the rest of this race. And oh, that's a good shout. Someone just commented saying about that collision, it gives them Hamilton and Button vibes from 2011. Oh, that's a good shout as well. I remember that one where Button and Hamilton went into each other at that wall, and of course that was the race where Button came back to win, which was quite unbelievable. But yeah, sadly no way that can happen for Jack tonight. But he's been in the wars this evening and has come to an exit this race for him, sadly. But we've now got 7 retirements from this race. It's been an action-packed race so far, and now the real question is, can Risky bridge that gap to Niels? He's definitely closing in, and of course he's got 6 seconds less penalties as well, so that will work in Risky's favour too.
I tell you what, Risky's pushing. That maybe he winced there for a minute. How close he got to the wall there at turn number 10. He's really pushing it right now, but he needs to also think about saving the life in his tyres to fight Niels as well. So he's not got a lot of overtake to use as well, whilst in the process Niels has a bit more overtake to use, so he'll have some to defend, which could be crucial for the last couple of laps. It looked good on track, but in terms of positioning on the Delta, Risky, I think, is almost net race leader soon.
Yeah, and he should have a good pace advantage. Yuri just asking in the chat, who's a joker? Yeah, okay, it is Niels who's a joker, so he doesn't have to stop again. Niels is out till the end on his hard tyres.
Ways of Vitinho back side by side, and this time Vitinho doesn't lose his front wing on Ways, which for Vitinho that would be a massive sigh of relief as he passes Ways with his 21 seconds worth of penalties.
Oh my goodness me. Yeah, Ways 21 seconds. Vitinho and Wace have had quite interesting races. Wace has got 21 seconds worth of penalties, and Vitinho's made 4 pit stops. So
it's not like Vitinho's that far behind the... Well, in terms of, say, his second 4 pit stop, he's not really that far behind the pack. In all honesty, really. Just look at the details now on the leader. Vitinho, yeah, he's... yeah, okay, he's a pit stop behind Niels, but to say his second 4 pit stops, you wouldn't think that.
Someone just quickly commented as well, Jacko P6, stop the count. Don't want to pour water onto that fire, but he does have to stop again.
All I'm going to say is I'm riding on board with him right now, and every person I've ridden on board with, something's happened.
It's almost like you want to curse him.
I mean, it'll be funny.
Yeah, I can't deny that.
Sorry, Jacko, if you're watching this back, but, you know, it's been an exciting race, why not add the cherry on the top?
Oh, and Easty Mats has come into the pits. So,
fastest lap.
Yeah, onto soft tyres he goes. Jacko obviously will be going for the soft tyres as well. I'm a bit surprised Jacko hasn't pitted yet, to be honest, for that second stop, because he could easily make a softs go to the end from here.
Oh, right. I completely forgot he's not pitted yet, has he? I thought he had.
No, oh, he's just had a massive moment, and that's going to allow Vitinho to easily move past him into 6th. But yeah, nearly lost the rear end and went into the wall there, out of turn number 5. So that was a very dodgy moment indeed for Jacko there, and that might be a sign to him that he needs to come in and get rid of those tyres.
And that might be a sign for me to stop watching him.
Well, it depends what you it depends what you're hoping for.
I mean, something happened to him. I don't want to be that harsh. In terms of the lead of the race now, Risky is 4.7 seconds behind Niels. The gap is closing. And Risky might want to go for glory here and take over the race lead on track. Hopefully we see that, but at the same time, if we have the same situation between Jack and Dan, yeah, that could end up being a Connor masterclass. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's the thing at the moment. Connor looks like he's gaining on Risky a bit, and this is the problem for Risky here. He probably wants to push and get the win on the track, but at the moment, him and Connor have the same amount of penalties, 3 seconds, so he knows that if he picks up one more penalty, he could end up gifting the win to Connor. So he's in a bit of a catch-22 situation at the moment.
And what you also have to think about is that Risky is on 3 lap holder tyres to Connor, so towards the end of the race, Risky may have to think about defending his position towards the end of the race. Interesting to see how percentage-wise we can't see it. Of course, we don't have the TAS in Kia Series, so just going by the way the car's looking on track. But it's shaping up to be a good finale, I must say.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm just going to go with Jacko. I'm going to go on board with, well, ride with Jacko now, because I'm expecting to see him peel into the pits. I know I said this last lap and it didn't happen, but Jacko, don't let me down. Go on, go, stay to the left. Yes, there you go. Jacko into the pits for soft tyres, and he can push to the end. Looking at where he'll rejoin, there's a gap between Easty Mats and Newgarden, which I think he's going to feed back into.
I thought Newgarden would be in a better position here, but it seems to be caught up in a lot of trouble with Newgarden, and that's the reason why he's down in P11 at the moment. Easty Mats, of course, goes for that bonus fastest lap point, or 1:11.2.
Yeah, fastest lap at the moment belongs to Easty Mats, but it could be taken away here. We'll have to wait and see as Mr. John gets nicely out of the way of Jacko, who rejoins on track.
Connor is now in the DRS of Risky, but in the process has depleted a lot of his ERS. Does Connor not know he's got DRS? It's flashing on my screen to say he's got it.
Yeah, he should have the DRS, but he didn't open it on that occasion, so...
I wonder if he's had a DRS failure on his game. You can get that, can't you? You can get a DRS
I believe so, yeah. I mean, he's in a good position at the moment. He can just sort of try and maybe hound Risky into a mistake. Even if he can't get past, he can definitely put a lot of pressure on him. And I reckon before the end of a race, they are going to come across Niels as well, just to add to the mix. Because there's no doubt at this stage, Niels' hard tyres are not providing him with a lot of pace.
There we are, the letterbox in the rear wing is now wide open. Yeah, and unfortunately Slipstream is not that strong on this year's game, but the DRS sort of suffices that here.
Definitely, and is he going to be in position to attack here? He would have been potentially, but he had a massive snap of oversteer at the exit of 10, and that unfortunately cost him any chance of making the move.
I'll tell you one thing, Jake, is when I'm on the Risky, I've got the Delta information up.
Oh,
Risky
he's into the wall!
Has clouted the wall, but
and
what
that's
I was going to
damage.
say before is that he's struggling with fuel as well. He's on the cusp of being under the fuel load. Now Risky now just needs to defend for his life, keep within the 6 seconds of Niels. With 3 laps to go with front wing damage.
Oh, it's perfect to be riding on board with Connor there. You saw the debris fly off when he made contact with the wall. He's got damage on the side of his wing, and that's going to leave him so vulnerable now to Connor. He had very good one-lap pace, as we saw in qualifying Risky, but there's been a couple of moments in the race where he's played down with a wall, and I'm afraid the wall has come out on top.
As Risky is defended, he's defending for his life right now for Connor. Now this is just going to be, it's going to eventually be P2 to Connor, but Risky will be absolutely kicking himself right now.
Yeah, he'll know that that was a... But that's what I was saying, like, just maybe putting pressure on Risky would force him into an error, which is what Connor did, and that's exactly what's happened. Here we go, then Connor with the DRS. Is he going to have the inside line for the final corner? Risky going defensive. He doesn't want to give this place up despite the damage. And fair play to him on that one. Yeah, very nice to defend indeed. Connor knows he has to try and get his position on track. Here he goes down the inside into T1. And it continues to go side by side through turn 2, round right on the outside. That's a great move from Connor. And he gets it, he makes it stick before turn 3. And fair play to the pair of them there. They gave each other just enough racing room to make that one work. But it's Connor with the better tyres and the better car in the sense of no damage. And he takes P2 on the road, which could very easily become P1 due to the difference in penalties, which we'll now look at now. You can see Neil's up to 12 seconds, whereas Connor and Risky's now picked up another penalty as well to boot.
Dear.
6 seconds, and he might have to be slightly careful here, because I don't know what sort of pace MK Bourne's running at, but there's every chance that MK Bourne might be able to get close enough to him to maybe snatch that position away as well.
I'll tell you, I'm going to just draw your eyes off from the leaders for a couple of seconds. Waze with front wing damage has been carrying on for a couple of laps now. There's a bit of a train for P8 carrying now between Waze, Bill and Jacko.
And this is a genuine battle, believe it or not, between Waze and Bill, because they both have 24 seconds of penalties. Which is quite something. And we've got Jacko just behind, and Jacko diving down the inside of Bill into the hairpin. Nicely done. Now, wasn't sure if he was going to make that stick. And, you know, I won't praise Jacko too often. You know, I want to keep him on his toes. But, you know, on that occasion, I'm going to say fair play, Jacko. Good move.
Yeah, very nice. Proper dive bomb. Got a good feel of the brakes. Yeah, it's a nice move there.
And then he nearly goes into the back of Waze to undo all his good work. That would have been such a Jacko thing to do. Oh, but he's going late on the brakes again. He doesn't really need to risk too much here, because he's got so many less penalties than these guys.
He's on the cameras. He wants to take the fame. Give it to him, go on.
Oh, and he thinks about it into turn 3. He's still there. You know, there he goes, right around the outside of 4, and he takes P8. And this could be the biggest moment of Jacko's racing career right here, right now.
Okay, there's a battle for the lead now. Connor is right on the gearbox of Niels. Niels is derating. We'll look for a move. He's going to go round the outside, and there's just no battery left in Niels, and Connor takes lead on track, which he had the lead anyway, because Niels has now picked up another penalty, interestingly. And Connor actually ran over some debris, so he was lucky not to get a puncture from that, you know. But on the other hand, Niels is also flashing red on the fuel gauge as well, so he has to also try and actually take the car home. He's got enough fuel in the tank.
Well, a lot of love for Jacko in the shot. Oh no, MK Bond in the wall. Oh, and
he ran over the debris at turn 2.
Has he got? I think he might have a puncture there. Yeah, he's got a puncture on the front. Oh, that's a disaster. The front left tyre is delaminated. Oh, and that's a long way. That's a long way from the pit lane as well.
It's the final lap of the race as well. He's ran over the debris at turn 2, like I pointed out that Connor ran over. Because he's got no front wing damage at all either, so it'd be interesting if he actually had collision with Risky. He might have been side by side with Risky, possibly, and because where the debris was on the outside of turn 2, could he still get P4 here from Bazza behind?
Connor across the line to take the win. It'll be Risky who will come home in second place. I'm going to try and follow MK Bourne if the game wants to let me. There we go.
Is he going to be able to slow down for the last corner here? No, he's not. It's Bazza going to look down the inside. He's got to cut the corner.
Bazza. Oh, this is... Oh, what on earth am I seeing? MK Bourne makes it across the line. He's 3 minutes 31 down, apparently. What on earth am I seeing on my screen in terms of the timings? I've got no idea. But Risky second, Niels third, Bazza fourth, Easty Matt's fifth. And what... I don't know if you've got that, but apparently MK Bourne and Vitinho are over 3 minutes behind.
I do have that, but that is not true. And Jacko just caught with the back of MK Bourne's car.
Well, what a result for Jacko. I mean, it's probably going to be, one all said and done, it's probably going to come out as P8. But even so, for Jacko, that's a great result for him. And there might be a bit of confusion as to what the actual results, final results are here, because MK Bourne and Vitinho are definitely not 3 minutes behind.
As Mr. John just scrolls by, but there's Jess, who actually makes it into the top 10 because she kept clean. And what did I say? A top 10 finish for Jess just because she kept her nose clean, kept out of trouble.
And Mr. John is just having his own fun out there around the final corner, doing a few donuts. He will take P11 probably. Actually, no, because he's a lap down, so he will stay at P13 anyway. But I'm going to go on board with, well, I was going to go on board with Connor, but this is an interesting view for Connor's car. You could just see Wacer's broken car in front of him, which is quite a unique view, and Connor's car broken as well. But he's the race winner, and I've got to say, he did a fantastic job to get the win in the end. It didn't look like he was going to win the race for a large portion of that one, but kept it clean and forced Risky into a mistake, and that ultimately got him the race win today.
Rightly so, but what a chaotic end to the race. It never disappoints as a finale in Kia Series.
No, if you want drama, this is the place to be. And Connor there celebrating on the top step of the podium. I've got to say though, for Niels in the end, despite my reservations and our reservations about the hard tyres, I think ultimately he made the Joker work quite well for him in the end, sealing third place.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought he did a bit of a bad move there under safety car, staying out and staying on the hard tyre, but he's proved us wrong. Yes, okay, he got 12 seconds worth of penalties, but still a third place from P16 on the grid, and right, my opinion, in terms of driver of the day, he does get my pick, but we'll wait and see what the vote says.
Oh my goodness me. The game continues to amaze me. According to the game, the fastest lap of the race was a 1 minute 53 from Vitinho.
I did get that when there was a battle happening on track between Dan and Jack. I thought that was a bit of a graphics bug. But, yeah.
From what I can see, Vitinho, EC Max has 1:11.2 is still the fastest lap out there, so he'll get that fastest lap point.
I think so, yeah, you might be right. And
outside the top 10 it'll go to MK, well, I say it'll go to MK Bourne, but I'm pretty sure he's inside the top 10 when the game works properly.
Yeah, he was inside the top 10. He definitely was inside the top 10.
We'll have to wait and see on that one. Maybe it was Wace who might drop down to 11th once it's all corrected. But in terms of a driver of the day, I think it's worth both of us giving our nominations for that one. Who would you say would be your driver of the day this evening?
Well, I'd say Niels. He's made the Joker work wonders. He actually, I thought it wouldn't work, but he's put it out the bag, starting from P16 to finish in, what was it, P3?
Yep, P3.
So that's a stellar drive for him, really.
I'm going to give my vote to Connor. I mean, Niels probably would have been my shout otherwise, but I will say Connor for me. Thought he did a great job to win the race, and it's good to see after his early connection issues early on in the season, produce performances like that, which we know he's capable of. And to get a win, I thought he did a superb job to put Risky under pressure and ultimately force the error out of him. So, yeah, Niels and Connor are our nominations for that one. Be sure to stay tuned in to JACKOCAR on Thursday evening, when we've got the Cup Series taking place. I don't know what track it's around this week. I'd have to double check that one, but it's with, of course, Owen and Jacko in the commentary box, so be sure to join them on Thursday evening for that one. And we'll be back for the Kia Series next Tuesday, where we're racing around the short version of Austin, so that should be a lot of fun. And it's also when we go a bit more into how the playoffs work, because we'll be losing 3 drivers. They'll be eliminated next week following the playoffs, so we'll have to make sure we let you know who that will be. But thanks for Matt for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed it today.
Yeah, certainly a lot of drama and a lot to look back on. Until next week, we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.